If you've been following the Ravens this season, you know there's been a whirlwind of opinions, hot takes, and intense debates about Lamar Jackson and how this team is performing. Some of the chatter lately has been downright harsh. One particularly bold comment suggested that the Ravens will never win a Super Bowl with Lamar at the helm, claiming that while his individual accolades are impressive, they simply won't translate into playoff victories. Likening him to Michael Vick with better public relations, that's a heavy statement, especially for someone who is just 28, soon to be 29, and still in the prime of his career. It's the kind of critique that feels premature, especially considering the ups and downs of football are rarely captured by a handful of games. Lamar has certainly struggled recently, with a few rough outings over the past few weeks, including a less-than-stellar Thursday night performance where missed throws and poor offensive line play put him in tough situations. There were moments when touchdowns were wiped away due to penalties or questionable fumbles, and health concerns have added another layer of difficulty. Yet, to suggest that these factors somehow define his career or his future chances at a championship is an oversimplification. We've seen similar narratives before, and they often ignore context, injuries, and the ebbs and flows that even the greatest quarterbacks experience. Comparisons to legendary players like Peyton Manning or Drew Brees show that success doesn't always come early, and sometimes the path to a Super Bowl involves growing through challenges, overcoming adversity, and finding the right circumstances at the right time. Lamar's career trajectory is far from over, and despite the criticisms, he remains one of the most dynamic, dual-threat quarterbacks in the league. He has proven himself as a formidable passer and runner, capable of putting up remarkable stats and making plays that few others can. Sure, this past stretch hasn't been ideal, and it's fair to analyze and critique individual games. But the leap from 3 difficult outings to declaring a player incapable of winning a championship is extreme, especially when we consider the talent around him and the potential for improvement in team dynamics and strategy. Offensively, the Ravens have had issues beyond Lamar's performance. Snap counts for running backs have raised eyebrows, with Derrick Henry and Catton Mitchell not seeing the consistent usage their performances might suggest, while Rasheen Ali has logged significant time. The lack of balance in snap distribution raises questions about decision-making and strategy. Henry has had moments of brilliance with big runs and touchdowns, yet his opportunities have fluctuated in ways that seem hard to justify given the game situations. Even when the Ravens were in striking distance and needed a reliable ground attack, key players were underutilized, creating frustration among fans and analysts alike. The inconsistency in using star talent has contributed to the perception that the offense isn't firing on all cylinders, and that has certainly affected Lamar's ability to lead effectively. Coaches make decisions with many factors in mind, but when high-caliber players are not maximized, it inevitably impacts the flow and rhythm of the team. This has been a recurring theme this season, and while it isn't solely Lamar's responsibility, he often bears the brunt of criticism when results aren't immediate. It's important to recognize that quarterback performance is intertwined with the support around him, from offensive line play to the utilization of running backs and receivers, and when those elements are inconsistent, it skews public perception. Despite the rough patch, Lamar's career achievements cannot be overlooked. His passer ratings rank among the highest in NFL history, and he has repeatedly demonstrated his ability to dominate games with both his arm and legs. While there are areas to improve, as there are for any player, he has consistently elevated his game over the years, and the moments of struggle do not erase the brilliance we've witnessed. In fact, just a few months ago, before an injury slowed him down, Lamar was lighting up defenses with precision passing and explosive runs, reminding everyone of the unique talent he brings to the field. The argument that he struggles in big games ignores the nuance of football and the context of each season, and it discounts the impact that coaching, game planning, and roster construction have on results. Comparing him to other dual-threat quarterbacks who have succeeded in the playoffs oversimplifies the challenges that each player faces. Lamar's ability to operate in the pocket, read defenses, and execute high-level football is often underestimated. When criticism focuses solely on a handful of missteps or missed opportunities, the recent performance of the Ravens and their position in the AFC North further illustrates the complexity of the situation. While Baltimore stumbled in their most recent game, external factors, including the performance of other teams like the Buffalo Bills against the Pittsburgh Steelers, have shifted the standings in the Ravens' favor. This underscores that football outcomes are rarely dictated by one player alone, and it highlights the need to evaluate team success with a broader lens. Rivalries in the division, from the Steelers to the Bengals, add another layer of intensity, and each matchup brings new challenges. Historically, the AFC North has been a battleground of strategy, physicality, and fierce competition. And while this season may have its struggles, it does not diminish the potential for dramatic turnarounds as teams adjust. Players return from injury, and game plans evolve. Football is dynamic, and the ebb and flow of wins and losses can shift momentum in a single week, showing that labeling any player or team prematurely is often a mistake. Meanwhile, broader discussions around offensive strategy continue to surface. Questions about the utilization of star players, the balance between passing and rushing, and the construction of the roster all play into perceptions of success. Derrick Henry snaps, the mix of running backs, and the offensive line's performance are all variables that contribute to the challenges Lamar faces. Critiques that ignore these factors risk oversimplifying a complex sport into a narrative that unfairly singles out one individual. Coaches are constantly adjusting, players are recovering, and strategy evolves week to week, creating a fluid environment where judging long-term potential based on a small sample is both premature and misleading. Lamar Jackson has demonstrated resilience, adaptability, and high-level performance consistently. And while criticism is part of the game, it must be grounded in context and a comprehensive view of what contributes to success on the field. The key takeaway is that while short-term struggles exist, they are not definitive statements about Lamar's career trajectory or the Ravens' potential. With a team that is still competitive in the division and a quarterback in his prime, the possibilities for growth, adjustment, and playoff success remain very much alive. Evaluating performance requires looking beyond isolated games, understanding the interplay of talent and strategy, and recognizing that football is a team sport where every decision, every snap, and every adjustment matters. Lamar's ability to rebound, lead, and perform at a high level remains clear, and the narrative that he cannot succeed in the postseason is far from settled. With remaining games that influence the standings and opportunities to refine strategy, both Lamar and the Ravens have ample chance to demonstrate their capabilities and defy the critics, who have been quick to judge. Moving forward, the focus shifts to how the Ravens can navigate the remainder of the season and position themselves for playoff success. While Lamar Jackson's recent struggles have fueled debate, it's clear that much of the conversation surrounding him often overlooks the broader challenges the team faces on a game-to-game basis. Offensive line inconsistencies, unpredictable snap distributions among running backs, and strategic decisions on crucial downs all shape how effectively Lamar can operate. Derrick Henry, for instance, has repeatedly demonstrated his ability to produce explosive plays, yet inconsistent usage has limited the team's potential in key moments. When star players are underutilized, it not only impacts the statistical output but also the rhythm of the offense. And Lamar, as the quarterback, inevitably feels the effects. Football is a chess game at the highest level, and every decision, from personnel to play calling, influences outcomes in ways that aren't always immediately visible to fans or critics. Despite these challenges, Lamar remains one of the most versatile and impactful quarterbacks in the league. His ability to extend plays with his legs, find open receivers under pressure, and read defensive schemes is unparalleled. While there are areas for growth, as is the case for any player, the notion that he cannot succeed in the postseason ignores both historical context and his proven ability to elevate his game when healthy and supported by the right roster. Injuries, game flow, and external pressures have affected performance over the last 3 weeks, yet these do not define his overall capabilities or potential for success. Players like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and even Tom Brady have faced similar periods of criticism early in their careers, and their eventual triumphs came through persistence, adjustments, and leveraging team strengths. Lamar is in a position to follow a similar path, provided the Ravens optimize their strategy and capitalize on the talent surrounding him. The coaching aspect cannot be ignored when evaluating Baltimore's performance. Snap counts, play calling, and game management have been points of contention, particularly in high-stakes moments. Derrick Henry's variable utilization, the handling of running backs like Catton Mitchell, and the protection schemes on Lamar all factor into overall offensive efficiency. When opportunities are missed or talent is underused, critics often direct frustration solely at the quarterback. But success in football is rarely the responsibility of a single player. Coaching decisions, In-game adjustments and roster construction play crucial roles, and evaluating the offense requires understanding these layers. The Ravens' ability to adjust and optimize their strategy in the coming weeks will significantly influence Lamar's performance and the team's playoff positioning. Looking at the division, the AFC North continues to present unique challenges. Rivalries between the Ravens, Steelers, and Bengals create high-pressure matchups where each game can dramatically shift standings. The recent victory by the Buffalo Bills over the Steelers indirectly benefited Baltimore, highlighting the interconnected nature of results across the league. Even when the Ravens stumble, the outcomes of other games can realign the division standings, underscoring the importance of staying competitive in every matchup. Historically, the AFC North has been a physically demanding division with defensive prowess and tactical nuance. And while this season may have seen ups and downs, the potential for exciting shifts and momentum swings remains significant. Lamar and the Ravens must continue to adapt, refine strategies, and execute consistently to capitalize on opportunities as the season progresses. From an analytical perspective, Lamar's performance metrics demonstrate his high-level capabilities. His passer rating ranks among the elite in NFL history, and his ability to minimize turnovers while producing significant yardage and touchdowns reflects his effectiveness as a dual-threat quarterback. Short-term slumps, such as the 3-game stretch without a touchdown, are not unusual in the context of a physically demanding sport. Injuries, defensive adjustments, and the natural ebb and flow of a season contribute to these moments. Evaluating Lamar's career based on isolated games neglects his cumulative achievements, growth, and adaptability. He has repeatedly shown the ability to adjust his style, improve accuracy, and make critical plays when it matters most. Moreover, Lamar's skill set allows the Ravens to implement versatile offensive schemes. His ability to throw accurately from the pocket, execute designed runs, and extend plays under pressure gives the coaching staff multiple options when designing game plans. While there are legitimate discussions about roster construction and optimizing offensive line play, the raw talent and versatility Lamar provides cannot be overstated. The team's success in upcoming games will depend on maximizing these strengths, while mitigating weaknesses through thoughtful play calling and strategic adjustments. Consistent utilization of top performers like Derrick Henry and careful management of game situations can provide Lamar with the necessary support to execute effectively and lead the team toward victory. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. John Harbaugh's unexpected on-air remarks about Lamar Jackson have set off a wave of whispers across the league, stirring the kind of speculation that thrives in the thin space between truth and misunderstanding. During a live interview meant to be routine, the Baltimore head coach let slip a series of pointed comments that many viewers interpreted as subtle frustration with his star quarterback. Harbaugh didn't attack Jackson directly, but the tone, carefully measured yet unmistakably sharp, was enough to make fans rewind the clip. More than once, the moment came when Harbaugh was asked about communication challenges within the offense. Instead of offering the usual polished coach speak, he paused and mentioned that certain players need to take more ownership of preparation. He never spoke Lamar's name, but the look he gave the camera carried the weight of unspoken implication. Social media erupted instantly, with analysts dissecting his facial expressions like investigators hunting for clues. Some insiders claim Harbaugh has been pushing Jackson privately for more consistency in film study and leadership, and that this interview may have been his way of sending a message without spelling it out. Others insist the comments were blown out of proportion, the kind of ambiguous phrasing coaches use all the time. Still, the murmurs won't stop. Reporters around the facility are whispering about subtle tension during recent practices, describing brief but noticeable moments in which coach and quarterback stood apart, communicating only through assistants. Whether these scenes mean anything or simply reflect the natural stress of a long season has become a matter of debate. What's fueling the fire even more is Jackson's silence. Usually quick to brush aside controversy with a grin or a casual remark, he hasn't responded. No posts, no comments, nothing. That vacuum has only encouraged louder speculation about the state of their relationship. League insiders are divided. Some say Harbaugh was merely trying to light a competitive spark, while others believe this could be the first visible crack in an otherwise strong partnership. For now, All that's certain is that the brief exchange has become the talk of front offices and locker rooms alike, whether it's a small storm or the start of something larger. The buzz around Harbaugh and Jackson shows no signs of fading. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.